So in order to use EquatIO in a Google Doc, you need to actually create a Google Doc. So once you're in Google Drive, you're going to hit New, Google Doc. Okay. Once this opens up, we're going to hit the EquatIO icon. Okay. So this prompts the EquatIO extension to open up. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to hit the equation editor, this first one next to the blue section. Okay. Once you click that button, you can start typing in whatever you want. Okay. So if you want to start typing in an equation, 3x plus 2 equals 24. Okay. Once you type it in, you're going to hit Insert Math. It's going to do all of the legwork for you and take this equation and insert it as an image. So if you want to move it around, you're moving one thing. Okay, so if we wanted to move this equation, we would click it, change the option to wrap text, and then we would be able to move it wherever we wanted to. Okay, that's one of the features that I really like about this. You can put it wherever you want. The downside, though, is I can't directly edit this. So if I wanted to make a slight change, I would have to click off of that image and then change what we had down here and then reinsert it. Not too bad though. Okay, and then we would just need to switch this to wrap text again. And if we wanted this one over here instead, now we can move it and then we can just hit delete to that one. Okay, so I really like that feature because you can put it wherever you want and it's easy enough to switch what you already have. Okay, so say you wanted to add a couple other things to it. Say you wanted an exponent. Say you wanted x to the 6th. You see this button right in the right-hand corner? You're going to hit that. This allows us to put a whole bunch of math operations into the equation. Absolute value, not equal to, exponents, fractions, inequalities, square roots. I mean, I could go on for a while, but there are a lot of great options in here. So say we want to put an exponent. Okay. You can use your right and left arrow keys to move around and edit what's in here. So say we want to switch that a to a number. Okay. Now we have x to the 7th. We're going to hit the right arrow key to bring it back down so it's no longer raised. Say we just want x to the 7th. Insert that. Okay. Again, wrap text if we want to move it, and we can put it wherever we want. Okay. So how do fractions work in here? Well, let's check it out. We're going to delete what we had here. We're going to go back to this button. We're going to hit the fraction. Okay. It sets it up. Again, use the right and the left arrow key. Say we want 1/3. Okay, if we want to use 1/3 and then put an equation after it, sure, why not? 1/3 x plus 3 equals 10. Right? Insert that. Okay. If you want to put a whole bunch of equations in here, you can. If you just want to put them in all together and then worry about the format afterwards, it's up to you. It's whatever preference you like. All right, so that's how you do that part of it. You can also add in other symbols like pi, plus or minus, okay? It has a lot of stuff in here. You can put the actual quadratic formula in here if you want. You can put Greek letters in here, okay? So it pretty much covers all the basics that you would need, especially in an Algebra 1 class, regardless of anything else. So do you remember me saying in the intro video that you could actually handwrite things in if you had a touch screen? You're going to go to this handwriting recognition option down here. So this is where if you had a touch screen, it would come in handy, but you can also use your mouse. I'm using my mouse right now. Say we wanted to type in 4x plus 1 all over 6. It takes what we have written, in this case with a mouse, and translates it into the equation using text. Okay, and again, just insert that. It does all of the legwork for you. And you can, again, wrap text, move it wherever you want. Okay? Another great thing about EquatIO, I basically use it in Google Docs the most. So another thing that I like to use in Google Docs is this graph editor. Okay? In Algebra 1, we're doing a lot of graphing. So this comes in very handy, especially when teaching slope. So I'm going to delete what we had already typed in there. I'm going to type in an equation and watch what happens to the graph. I'm going to type in y equals 2x plus 4. It graphed the line for me. Okay. I'm going to take this graph and insert it into my document. Okay, there's my graph. I can choose to put the equation like we did before right next to this graph if I wanted to, but if I'm having students try and calculate the slope of a line, I just want them to see the line. I don't want them to see the equation. So this is perfect for that. If this is too big for you in your document, then you're just going to hit the wrap text option again. You're going to hold shift down while you make it smaller. Okay, that keeps the proportions correct if you hold shift down when you do that. Okay, and then if you want to crop it, say there's too much white space, you're just going to double click it until these black boxes appear, the black grid lines appear on the sides, and you're just going to move them where you want them. Okay, once you have a good idea of where you want it, you're going to click out of that picture, and there you go. Again, move it wherever you want. Okay. Another option in here that I don't use too much is the speech input. Okay, so you're going to click the button to start recording, and it's going to take what you're saying and put it into text. So let's see how this works. You're going to allow the microphone. Y equals 6x plus 4. Hit pause. Worked pretty good. Insert that. And again, wrap text, move it wherever you want. All right, so there is a free version to this, which is what we're using right now, but you can also pay to use the premium version. I personally think that you get just what you need out of the free version, so why pay for it, right? You might be wondering, well, I don't really like how big this is, and if you go to shrink it down, okay, it still looks all right, but what if I want it even smaller? This is a feature that I actually just found out about. If you go to the blue button here and you go to options, you're going to go to math options. You can change the size of your font. So if we go to regular, let's see what happens to our equation. So we're going to go back down to our equation editor. We're going to see what happens to this equation. It's a lot smaller compared to what we had. I think that it was originally set at extra large. So now if we go to hold shift down and make it bigger, it gets blurry. So my suggestion for you guys would be to change the size to be bigger instead of smaller, because it's easier to go from bigger to smaller, as I showed you up with this one, than it is to go from smaller to bigger like with this one. So that's how you use it with Google Docs.